Hello everybody, my name is James Leggett, and today is a very special day. Apart from the fact that I'm shooting my first ever film festival film, more on that much later on this video, it is also the 40th anniversary of what is, in my opinion, the greatest song of all time, Blue Monday by New Order. But why exactly is this song so spectacular? Well, first let's go over the history. So, this was written before New Order released Power, Corruption and Lies, but after Movement, when they moved away from being Joy Division Light to the New Order we all know and love. And they decide, and if I recall reading the autobiographies correctly, the idea for Blue Monday first came about because they didn't do encores and people were pissed off about that, and so they decided just to go write in a song they could just put on the sequencer and then they would just play, so they wouldn't have to do anything. But they just more, but over some jamming sessions and having to redo the whole song because they lost the original version because 1980s technology was very unreliable, especially synthesizers. It meant that we got the final song we got today, all 7.5 minutes of it, and it is the greatest 12-inch selling single of all time, with a mammoth 7.5 minute runtime. Some people tried to encourage them to do a slow radio edit that was shorter, but they said no. Although in 1988 there was a remix version done called Blue Monday 88 with a music video. I like it, but I just prefer the original. I think it's because I just love it so much. And of course, who can forget about their infamous performance on Top of the Pops, where in their infinite, because you see the thing at the time, the Top of the Pops, the artist just mimed, but New Order insisted on playing Blue Monday live, and it was a complete disaster. Bernard didn't look like he was in the best mood, and the synthesizer was the Top of the Pop studio clearly wasn't made for that kind of song, so it sounded awkward. And in his autobiography, Stephen admits he brought some of the wrong floppy disks, and so some of the sound effects of the song are played at the wrong time, resulted in it's kind of hard to describe what the Top of the Pops Blue Monday performance was like. A spectacular failure? On one hand, I suppose you could argue that, but it's also just so funny. You know, it's like the first time New Order went to Glastonbury and Bernard was high on drugs. And so singing procession, he was like, you. Ah, that's just really funny. Oh, and I want to apologize for my terrible haircut in this, but at the time I seemed to be going for a Die Wimpy Kids style haircut, mostly flat, but then with a sticky thing at the back, like Greg has in the books. But I digress. So now we've gotten the brief. Oh yeah, and also another funny story surrounding the song. So it was actually supposed to be used in a advert for a US drink called Sunquist. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then they did record it, but in the end, it ultimately went unused. Apparently, Rob Gretton said no, despite the fact they offered, I think it was $200,000 for it. Although, even if they had gotten, most of them might probably just would have gone towards the Hacienda. Wow, the Factory Record store is just so bizarre. Like, they spent most of their money on a nightclub. I have to respect that. I mean, business-wise, it was a terrible decision and partially contributed to them falling apart in the early 90s. But still, it's really funny. I mean, if you've never seen 24-Hour Party People, you absolutely should. It's such a good film. And you won't regret watching it. It's also really funny as well. Like, you pay 30 grand for a fucking table? Oh, man. I haven't seen that film for a while. I would like if there was an extended cut, because some of the deleted scenes were pretty good, but I'm just a nerd like that. Imagine how different history would have been if Factory had signed the Smiths. They would have survived for at least a little longer. Oh, and the final Factory album properly was Yes Please by the Happy Mondays, and it was a complete disaster because what happened was that they went to Barbados to go record it, which is in Spain. By the time they were suffering from drug withdrawals, they had these detox drugs, I can't remember what they're actually called. But when they were waiting for the plane, they kicked around the case and the drugs smashed and broke. So they spent the majority of the time in Barbados either crashing cars or selling studio equipment to go get crack cocaine. And even after they finished doing all of that, they still held the master tapes to ransom from Factory for even more money. And Factory were quite dismayed to learn that none of the songs had lyrics to them. They had to wait for Sean White to get out of rehab to go record some. And when it was released, it was a massive failure, and that was the end of Factory Records. New Order were taking too long to record Republic. It was released the following year on London Records, but at that point the band just had enough of each other and they decided to go longer than a 5-year hiatus. Also, another big thing for New Order is that despite the fact that my favourite band of all time, they've only ever got one number one single in this country, which was Road in Motion, aka the 1990 British World Cup song that was partially written by a comedian known as Keith Allen, I think. And features raps from some football. I don't know, I'm not a footballing expert, but yeah. Such a weird fact. I mean, they've got a few number one albums in this country, but in terms of singles, it just isn't that appreciated. It's a real shame because they deserve so much more respect than they actually get. Oh well. Anyway, happy 40th anniversary Blue Monday. You sound like you came from the future that we should have gotten, but didn't, because of course we didn't. Anyway, to all of those who've never heard it, go listen to it. Oh yeah, this is me dancing to it when I was doing a music video for it back in college. Bye!